Shalom, all praise to the Most High. Yahweh shall bless me, the battle axes of the Most High. Bring you this class today, part 2 of last Wednesday's class, unlocking the mysteries of the Bible, the Israelites, the key. Actually, today we're going to bring out a couple of those mysteries that have been unlocked in the Bible by some of the Israelites. We're going to bring out some of those. We're going to start off with Romans 15:4.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Read.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime.
So whatever was written before time, everything in this Bible was written before we got here. So everything written in the Old Testament, New Testament, written by all the prophets of the past, read on.
Were written for our learning.
Were written for our what?
Were written for our learning.
So everything that we read in this Bible is written for our learning. Read on.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
So, I mean, it's enduring to the end, having patience and comfort. The scriptures brings comfort to the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Because now we understand what we're going through and the atrocities that our people going through. And also, this is the only hope that we have as a nation, you know, to come up out of the oppression that we're in. So we lean on this Bible for comfort and patience and through the scriptures and hope through the scriptures. And we're going to start the class again. The class is unlocking the mystery of the Bible. The Israelites is the key. Part 2. The first scripture is Colossians 1:26.
The book of Colossians, chapter 1 and verse 26. Even the mystery which had been hid from ages and from generations.
So these mysteries been hidden for ages and generations. You know what I'm saying? We had to go through these curses, man. This is something that was we haven't been knowing all along that we was the Israelites, that we was God chosen. We haven't been known. We've been thinking that we was the scum of the earth. We've been thinking that we was sent here to be slaves, and come to find out we holy and we set apart. Read on.
But now it's made manifest to his saints.
It's made manifest to who?
To his saints.
To his saints. You know what I'm saying? His saints are the Israelites. Are the 12 tribes, them are his saints. And we're gonna go precept upon precept. Give me Psalms 147, 19 to 20.
The book of Psalms, chapter 147, chapter 148, verse 14. He also exhorted the horn of his people.
Of who?
Of his people.
Of his people. Go ahead.
The praise of all his saints. Even of the children of Israel.
The children of who?
The children of Israel.
So,
a people.
So it's telling them, you know, that the saints are the children of Israel. Read on.
That's right. A people near unto him.
A people near unto him. So the children of Israel are near. Only going to get the 147, 19 and 20.
Praise ye the Lord. The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Unto who?
Unto Jacob.
Read on.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
It's Jacob and Israel again. He's talking to a certain group of people. Read on.
He had not dealt so with any nation.
With what?
With any nation.
So he only dealing with Jacob and Israel. He haven't dealt with any other nations. Read on.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
So they don't even know the Most High. Only God's chosen know of him. Only we the ones that can repent and get the kingdom. Now we're gonna go. Who is Jacob? So we want to find out who Jacob. This is one of the mysteries, man. This is one of the mysteries in the Bible. Go to Genesis 25 and 19. So now we're gonna find out where Jacob come from. Who is Jacob? Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 19.
Go ahead.
And these are the generation of Isaac, Abraham's son.
Abraham who?
Abraham's son.
Read on.
Abraham begat Isaac.
So Isaac is Jacob's father, man. So, you know what I'm saying? We also teach that we go by bloodline. You are what your father is. So read on, keep going.
Verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife. the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Panaram, the sister to Laban the Syrian.
Okay, so Isaac and Rebecca, Rebecca is Isaac's wife. So, these are the mother and father of Jacob. We're going to go to Numbers 1 and 18 to give you that information, to let you know that you are what your father sees. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not, I mean, the mother is important, but it's not the mother. You are, that's how you figure out what your bloodline is through your father. Read that for me, y'all.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18.
Read.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigree.
Okay, so if they declared their pedigrees, the pedigree is their bloodline. They declared their bloodline. Read on.
After their families, by the house of their father.
The house of who?
By the house of their father.
So that let you know, Israel, that your bloodline is determined by the house of your father. So we're gonna go back to Genesis, and then we can start at 23.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So we got 2 separate nations in the womb of Rebecca. This is Rebecca, which is the wife of Isaac. Read on.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 manner of people. So these going to be 2 different type of people separated in the bowels that she's carrying inside her, the 2 different nations. Read on.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other. So we have that going on right now. As a nation of people, we as a nation of people are stronger than the other nations. We faster than the other nations. We jump higher than the other nations. We smarter than the other nations. So when we get through with this, you're going to understand who is who in these precepts right here, because it said that one nation is stronger than the other. Read on.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And the what?
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay, now go to 25.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Now the first came out red like a hairy garment. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know that we call the so-called white man, I know we call him white, like my brother's shirt right here, that is a white shirt. We have never seen a white person that I like. So, you know what I'm saying? We have called them down here in Texas, we call them rednecks. You know, so, and read that again.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
And like I said, like we always say, man, if it weren't for Gillette razors, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to see that hairy monster in his full state, in his true identity. Read on.
And they called his name Esau.
And his name was what?
And they called his name Esau.
So, I mean, according to the scriptures, the first nation was the red and hairy. You know what I'm saying? And which, you know what I'm saying, we know who that is already. We know that's the so-called white man. Read on.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob.
His name was what?
Was called Jacob.
His name was Jacob. And see, they didn't even describe his skin color because he didn't look no different than everybody else in the village. So that lets you know that the 2 nations were different. One, he took on Esau. He took Esau heel. But in the above scriptures, it said one would serve, the elder would serve the younger in the kingdom. Okay, so
and also,
you got something? Go ahead.
Also, that's one of the biggest mysteries of the Bible.
That's right.
Jacob and Esau that they don't bring out in churches, and that right there alone makes the difference of the whole Bible, Jacob and Esau, because throughout the Bible talks about Jacob and Esau through the whole Bible.
Matter of fact, let's get another little mystery real quick. Let's get a precept. Give me 2 Ninja 6 and 9, because this is a very important precept to kind of fit into the story. Because like what Ak was bringing out, this is what the Bible is really all about. Jacob and Esau, good versus evil. God's chosen versus God's damned. You got that out?
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
Read that again, Ak.
Let me go back up to verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham and Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born.
When they were what?
Were born.
Because Ezra is getting a prophecy according from Jacob and Esau. Read on up.
Of him, Jacob's hand held first Esau.
Because when they was in the womb, they was tussling with each other. The same way we do today. We always oppose the so-called white man in everything that we do. We don't know.
For Esau is the end of the world.
So when Jacob held first Esau's heel, this is what this means. Read that again now.
For Esau is the end of the world.
So Esau is the end of the world. That lets you know that Esau will be ruling in these end times. Right. What race is ruling today? The so-called white man, the Caucasians. Read on out.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
And that's letting us know, guess what? The so-called Chinaman is not next for world domination. The so-called Israelites is up next for rulership.
Right.
That's what that hand held in Esau means. We up next for rulership. Go ahead.
And also this it also goes into, you see, there's no space in between it. That's why he held his heel.
That's right.
So it's just like when they leave out of rulership, we're going bam right into rulership.
Exactly.
Man. So there's no space in between that time.
Go ahead.
All right, we're gonna go to Genesis 32 and 24. Now we're gonna find out we're gonna find out through the scripture. We already know who Jacob is. Jacob is the father of our nation. Mm-hmm. So now we're gonna go and see where we get Israel from. That's right. Give me you can start in chapter. I mean, it's 32 and 24. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 32 and verse 24. And Jacob was left alone. And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
So Jacob is wrestling with a man, which is an angel. He's wrestling with an angel, and they wrestled until the break of the day. Read on.
Verse 25. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him.
So the angel was trying to get loose away from Jacob, but Jacob wouldn't let him go. Read on.
He touched the hollow of his thigh. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him.
So, Jacob dislocated his hip wrestling with the angel. You know what I'm saying? So, he had a good grip on the angel. He wasn't really trying to let him go. Read on.
And he said, let me go.
That's the angel talking to Jacob. He telling Jacob to let him go. Read on.
For the day breaketh.
And
he said, I will not let thee go, except thy bless me.
Read that again.
And I would not let thee go, except thy bless me.
So Jacob was, he was determined. He was like, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. You know what I'm saying? Basically, what he was telling the angel, I ain't going to let you go till you bless me. Read on.
Verse 28. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob. Verse 27. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
Read that again,
And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel.
So through the scriptures, by Jacob wrestling and fighting with these angels, that was his blessing, that his name be changed from Jacob to Israel. Read on.
For as a prince has thy power with God and with men, and has prevailed.
So the word Israel means prince of the prince of power, man, of God. You know what I'm saying? So that is what the word Israel means. So when we Israel, we are the prince of power of God. So this is where Israel comes from, because by Jacob fighting with this angel, his name was changed into Israel. So that's where you get the 12 tribes of Israel from. Now give me Deuteronomy 1:1, because give me Deuteronomy. Give me Deuteronomy 1:1. So now when we go into Deuteronomy and we talking about the curses, and he's talking to the children of Israel, now we know who we talking to. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to he's not talking to everybody. That's right. He's only talking to one nation of people. So now we can understand who he's talking to when we finna fit a nation of people to these curses in the book of Deuteronomy.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Read.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Unto who?
Unto all Israel.
And remember, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So he's talking to the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read that again.
And these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side Jordan in the wilderness.
That's all I need on that. So he's speaking to Israel. So now we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Now we've been identified with this curse. This is going to be another mystery that we're going to unlock about the Bible, because a lot of people I didn't know about this being in the Bible until I came into the truth, and I started learning from brothers that had wisdom in this truth. You can read Deuteronomy 28 and 16 when you're ready.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So the first time that our people left up out of Egypt, they walked up out of Egypt. It was not in ships. So this is a totally different Egypt that he's talking about. We're going to get you the definition of Egypt, though. We're going to go, you can go to Exodus 22 real quick. We're going to get you the definition of Egypt so you can understand what the word Egypt means. Go ahead when you got it out.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2.
Read.
I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt. So he let them know he's the Lord thy God that brought them out of the land of Egypt. Now we're going to give you the definition of the word Egypt. Read.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of what?
Out of the house of bondage.
So the word Egypt means house of bondage. So if you're in bondage, that means you are in slavery.
That's right.
You are a slave. So all we're going to do is go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and we're going to replace the word Egypt with slavery. And that's another mystery that we just unlocked for you. You guys want to come into this truth. You know what I'm saying? You want to understand why we think the way we think, or why we believe in the scriptures and understand the scriptures the way you do, because we go through this precept upon precept, and we unlock these mysteries, which he only gave the mysteries to the saints. And we know the saints are the Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now, read that 28 and 68 for me, y'all.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into slavery again with ships.
So the so-called Negroes came out of the Atlantic, or out of the West Atlantic slave trade. We came into America on slave ships. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So we was clueless on our homeland, our heritage, what we were supposed to be doing, how we were supposed to be praying to our God. You know, our Sabbath, we lost. We didn't know what days we were supposed to praise the Lord on. Everything that we knew about ourselves was lost when we came over here on the slave ships. When we got off the slave ships, we was butt naked.
Also, do anybody know why we pray to the east? Why we pray to the east? But what is more than that? Do anybody know more than that? See, the reason why we pray to the east is it is because of the homeland, but we got to go back into the mind state of the homeland too, because we've been Americanized. We've been into this type of culture, but the Most High God says to come back to what our forefathers. That's why the first precept he read was what Romans 15 and 4. Things were written aforetime, written for our learning, because we got to get our mind state back into the learning of what we used to be.
That's right.
So that's why we pray. And that's when brother bring it out. So we got to go back to our roots, and that's what brother bring it up.
That's right. Keep going.
And another mystery is that we're unlocking that, our motherland is not Africa.
No, that's right.
Our motherland is Jerusalem. That is another mystery that we have to unlock and let our people know, because far too long we have been taught that we are Africans, that we are from, everybody is from Africa. But that's not thus said the Lord.
Which, if you want to find that, you can find that in Galatians 4 and 26. You know what I'm saying? You go to Galatians 4 and 26 to tell you that Jerusalem is the mother of us all.
That's right.
So, we try to break the lies that we Africans, because we do not look like no Africans.
That's right.
But you can finish that scripture.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
See, and the Lord is specifically, this is a big mystery right here, because everybody want to know, well, who is the enemy? Well, who you think the enemy is? Who been having us oppressed for over 400 years? You know what I'm saying? Who been having us on the bottom? I mean, who is actually over us and oppressing us and controlling us? You know what I'm saying? They say we shall be sold to our enemies. Who was we sold to? We were sold to the white man. Read on.
For bond men,
for slave men,
and bond women,
and slave women. Read
and
on.
No man shall buy you.
Malcolm X tried to save us. He got assassinated. Martin Luther King tried to save us. He got assassinated. Moses Barnes, he was assassinated. All type of brothers, man, being assassinated and murdered, man, trying to bring their people out of bondage, but ain't nobody gonna bring us up out of this slavery and this oppression but our Lord Yahweh. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got to understand when we got to come back to these scriptures and get back in these precepts and get the understanding of this Bible. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to go to...
Matter of fact, let me get this other precept.
Go ahead.
Give me Hosea chapter 9, verse 3. Because a lot of times we hear Christian apologetics talking about Egypt. That just means Egypt. But even Egypt is a Greek word, which means Egyptos, which means bondage. But this is also just a similitude. The Most High uses these words as similitudes to show us that means captivity, because that was in the land we was in captivity at. Give me Hosea chapter 9, verse 3.
The book of Hosea chapter 9, verse 3. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land.
So we weren't going to dwell in the land of milk and honey in Jerusalem. Read on up.
But Ephraim,
But who?
but Ephraim
Read on.
shall return to Egypt.
Shall do what?
Shall return to Egypt.
Because in the time of Hosea, this when he had cast off the northern tribe and sent them back into slavery with the Assyrians.
That's
Read
right.
that again up. But Ephraim,
But Ephraim shall return to Egypt.
so the Most High let them know they gonna return to Egypt or to bondage. Read on up.
And they shall eat unclean things in Assyria.
And they shall do what?
And they shall eat unclean things in Assyria.
Letting us know that we was gonna go back into bondage in the land of Assyria. The same way we doing today, because guess what? We eating unclean things in America today.
Right.
So that is a precept that goes with Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
That's right. And if you follow along with your scriptures, man, I'm gonna bring that down. If you drop right below from that 28:6 where we read, and it says, "These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel." So this is not for everybody.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go past that, man, because I don't, but I'm just letting you know he's only talking to the children of Israel. He's only talking to the 12 tribes. We're gonna go to now we're gonna go into these curses in Deuteronomy. Give me 28 and 46.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So these curses gonna be just like the slave ship. You understand? You know who came over here on slave ship. So these curses was upon us for a sign and a wonder. Just like when you go to McDonald's, you know that's a McDonald's. You know they sell fries and burgers. You go to Taco, you see a sign say Taco Bell. You know that they got tacos in there. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to these curses, if you fit these curses, that means you are the children of Israel. The same thing is the same. If you go to the liquor store, you know they got liquor and beer in there. So this is the same thing. If this happened to you, you fit the curses of the 12 tribes of Israel.
And that's really one of the most pivotal scriptures in the book of Deuteronomy, that verse 46, because that specifically lets us know how to identify the Israelites today.
That's right.
That verse right there is pivotal in this chapter.
All right, we're gonna go through a couple of these curses real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Because this is basically because everybody sitting in this room right here, we understand. We already know who we are.
Hold on, let me read verse 46 again.
Go ahead. Read it again.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46.
Right.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Yeah, so that means that these curses gonna be upon us until our Lord crack that sky.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Until he come back and get us up out of this captivity, these signs and these atrocities and all these curses is gonna be upon our people. And we're gonna have to deal with these curses.
Exactly. Because another point is they use this and just say, oh, this is just doing the Babylonian captivity. Oh, this is just doing the Assyrian captivity. But that last word lets you know this is throughout each captivity. Each captivity that Israel went in, these curses apply to us.
That's right.
In during the Romans, during the Greeks, these same curses apply to us throughout all the captivities, not just one.
So now we know that these curses is here for a sign and a wonder. So you got to fit these curses to be God's chosen people.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing else around that, man. If there was any way around that, then you'll be able to find it in this Bible. But he said that these curses are going to be a sign and a wonder to determine who his chosen people were.
That's right.
So now we're going to go to 28 and 15 and 16.
Just like Ox said, he said, if you getting things conflicted in the Bible, it ain't the Bible that conflicted, it's you.
There you go. I'll pray. There you go.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15.
Read.
But it shall come to pass.
So by that, it said it's going to come to pass. That means it's going to happen. Which this is happening right now. This is a prophecy in the Bible that is happening right now to our people. Read on.
If thou would not hearken,
listen, go ahead,
unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
And that's the thing about it, man. Our people say these commandments is done away with. It's only 10 and 614 of these commandments. You know what I'm saying? And and read that part again. I can say,
and they shall like but it shall come to pass if thou would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
No, just some of them.
All his commandments.
Just 10 of them.
All his commandments.
See, we got to do all his commandments. That's the whole fight, and that's why we got this grace period, man, to try to get ourselves in order with the Most High and to do all his commandments. Read on.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
This day. So he want this done this day. When you hear about this the same day, he wants you to get in order and come back to his laws and commandments. Read on.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he said if we didn't do this and we didn't hearken to his voice, then all these curses was going to come and overtake us. Read the verse.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
And I cursed in the city. We are the majority that live in all the ghettos around the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? And we are also here with our brothers, because a lot of people say that the Hispanics, they are not our brothers. I mean, but they stay in the same slums that we stay in. So right. I don't understand how you can say that. You know what I'm saying? But we all stay as a majority. The so-called Native Americans, Hispanics, and so-called Negroes stay in all the ghettos across America.
And that's the key right there, like I was bringing out, the majority. We're not talking about one or two brothers and sisters that's doing okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about us as a nation of people.
That's right.
We are on the bottom in the society. In the cities, we on the bottom.
That's right. That's right. We catching all the atrocities, man. Read on.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Cotton fields, sugarcane fields. Our people put in plenty hours doing slavery in them fields, man. Last hire, first fired in the work field today. You know what I'm saying? No, hardly our people getting promotions in these jobs, man. You know what I'm saying? The people that are hiring our people on no more, because we got to go through all these temporary services and all this type of nonsense to get a job these days. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, our people are suffering in the work field. Our people are suffering as a majority in the work field. Read on.
Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket.
And that's a similar tool, man, because, you know what I'm saying, when you get your fruits and your vegetables, you put them in a what? You put them in a basket. So it said cursed is our basket. That means we won't be able to grow our own crops. We won't have our own source of getting our own food. We got to go to our enemy to get our food. Read on.
And thy store.
And our store. If you go to any neighborhood in the projects or in these neighborhoods where the so-called Israelites are, there are other nations running these stores.
Exactly.
It's not our people running these stores in these communities.
And like we say, we got to keep stressing the fact. We're not talking about one mom or pop stores. We're talking about us as a nation.
Exactly.
Because the so-called Caucasians, they own everything as a nation. The so-called Moabites own all the nail salons as a nation of people. So we're not just talking about one or two people, Israel. Don't get simple.
That's right. And just like I always say, we ain't talking about Rudies and Sweet Georgia Browns and all that, because you ain't got no Rudies and Sweet Georgia Brown or Williams chicken in Japan.
That's right.
Or Australia or Afghanistan or Iraq, but you got McDonald's, Burger King. You got all these type of different corporations that the white man own all in these other countries, right?
Matter of fact, you ain't even get Sweet Georgia Browns in Arkansas.
That's right.
Tennessee.
That's right. That's right. So these we ain't talking about that, but who run all your local 7-Elevens?
That's right.
The so-called African man. You know what I'm saying? In our neighborhood, we got Valeros, the so-called African man running those stores. You know what I'm saying? All these little corner stores that we got in the neighborhood, the so-called Arab or the African man is running those stores. Who's running all these stores that the women run and get their hair from? All of these Japanese and Korean people, man. It's not your own people you going to buy all this stuff from. So you think that it's a good thing that you going to get this stuff, ladies, and you putting this stuff in your hair. It's really not a good thing, because you don't know what these people kind of curses they putting on their hair. You know what I'm saying? So it's just to the point where, you can't trust nobody around you, because these are not your people selling you this stuff in your neighborhood. Read on.
Verse 18. Curse.
No, that's it. That's all I need. Give me verse 30.
Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
Didn't this happen in slavery? Then our brothers marry their women. We married the sisters in slavery. And if white man partners come over there, they want to get towed down. They go out there and pick them one of the more pretty black women. They didn't care if that woman was married to one of the men out there. They didn't care about that. They went and got what they wanted. Read on.
And another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house.
Did we not build the White House? And we not built everything in this country? Was not everything built off the backs of our forefathers in this country? You know what I'm saying? But we ain't, how many Negroes, and please don't say Obama, because he was not a Negro. He was an African. He was a Hamite. So that we still didn't get one up in there. But you ain't seen nobody from no Israelite up in the White House. We don't.
And thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
So in slavery, man, we was out there working in the fields, planting all their vegetables, planting all their crops, and we wasn't reaping the benefit of none of that. We weren't making no money off that. We really probably barely got to eat that. You know what I'm saying? So we weren't reaping none of the benefits from none of this stuff.
And that goes on the modern day work field too. We go and we work in all these factories, and he might work for Kellogg. He might be doing 900 boxes of cornflakes a day.
Huh.
But you ain't eating none of that. You ain't getting no money off of it.
They're not even trying to take your box up out of there. That's termination automatically. You know what I'm saying? And then give me verse 37.
Verse 37.
36.
Verse 36.
Uh-huh.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee.
So who's setting over us right now? The so-called white man. Read on.
Unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
So we didn't know these people, man. The Lord brought them against us when they came and got us off the west coast of Africa. Read on.
And there shalt thou serve other gods.
What was our people gonna do?
Serve other gods.
Read on.
Wood and stone.
Wood, Christianity, and the stone is Muslim. It's the Muslim customs, man. And that's what our people do today. And you got so many Negroes saying they Christians and Muslims till it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord already prophesied that our people is gonna come over here serving other gods. Read 37.
Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment.
Yeah, they looking at us like, doing these God's chosen people, man. Look at them now. They on the bottom. They out here hoard out. You know what I'm saying? We out here looking bad, man, to be God's chosen people. Read on.
A proverb.
A nigga, a coon, African American, everything but the tribe of Judah or anything else that the Most High call us.
That's right.
They call us everything but what our Lord called us. Read on.
And a byword.
Niggas love chicken and watermelon. But from the last time I checked, everybody like chicken and watermelon. That's just not a Negro thing. Read on.
Among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So these is all the nations looking at us like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just white folks. You go up in them Japanese museums, they got pictures of Negroes next to monkeys and all type of stuff, just showing you that they compare us to monkeys. But the white man, the one who looked like a monkey with the tight lips and the big ears. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just some foolishness that we take on ourselves. Because we so oppressed as a nation, we'll let a person call us anything. You know what I'm saying? But not no more, because we got men standing up right now that's fighting for our people against the wickedness of this kingdom. Give me 48.
Go to 31 right quick.
31.
Verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof.
One thing that happened back in the day, that's one thing we got to get across. The native Indians, they were of the Northern Kingdom that was already there. Some of these curses don't fit us because we didn't have no cattle at this time. We was on slave ship coming from another land.
That's right.
They were here, and they lived off buffalo. Mm-hmm. In fact, Texas, that's the land where the buffalo roam. Mm-hmm. What they did was they gathered all the buffalo to starve the Indians out. They killed and slaughtered all the buffalo. They even have pictures where they stacked up all the bones and took all off the fur and just let the meat rot out so the Indian would die out.
That's right.
So that's what that's saying right there. And then if you go ahead and finish that out, and then I'm going to go to another one.
Thine eyes shall be violently taken away before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee.
Never got them back.
Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt not have none to rescue them.
And that's what they had. They took the other animals. They knew they lived off the buffalo is what they did. That's what they did through all their lives. That's why they always looked up to the buffalo. Now go down to 33.
Hold on, go read that 32. That's our favorite verse. Don't read that out.
Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
And this happened to both. Mm-hmm. This happened to us, and it happened to the native Indians. Because they had women that were taken away, and they had their children taken away also. Same thing that's going on today in Mexico right now. Because a lot of them people are not getting their kids back. Right. Some of them kids are already sold in child, what they call it, protective service. They're gone already.
That's right.
They're gonna lie to them and tell them, hey, we can't find them. They're gonna be lost in the system. This is going on. That ain't no. They think it's a game. They think it's a trick. They doing this. Our government is doing this.
And not only is they doing that, they're doing it through the TVs too. You know what I'm saying? You turn on the TV, every commercial is interracial marriages on the TV. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? White and white, and it's mostly the white man with the black woman, because that ruins the seed. That ruins the seed. I'm telling all you black women right now, you lay it up with that white man, then you just cursed your child from reaching the kingdom of God, and don't even understand it. That was all you had.
Go ahead.
Got some more?
No, go ahead. No. I want to go there and then go ahead and Go to 33.
33. Go ahead.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
The fruit of our land. That's not us. Because we was in Africa, in another land. These are talking about the Native Americans on this precept right here. It's not, see, in some of these curses you got to look at, they're not all ours. Some of them to the northern kingdom that was already over here. Some of them to the southern kingdom. But if you don't know nothing about the kingdoms, you'll never know this. They were on this land. We didn't have land. We already got kicked out. We left out of Jerusalem. That's right. That's burning down at this time. That was burnt down. So this land that this is talking about is the native Indians that was already over here. They had land. That's right. Go ahead.
And then another thing y'all not understanding, is probably why y'all don't understand, they went into captivity before we did. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got to understand that too. Y'all got that we would have just taken, we'd have went into captivity 200 years before they did. Our color probably would have been lighter. Or we would have been a little bit more light-skinned, more of a people. But you know what I'm saying? So you got to understand, man, you know, they went into captivity before us, so they had already been tarnished and following other gods and doing other things and breaking God's laws before we did.
And that's another good point that we have to constantly stress, man. Color does not matter when it comes to Israel.
That's right.
The Most High God tells us we're like a speckled bird. Only nationality, your bloodline is the only thing that matters. You can come from a very light to a very dark. You may have some Caucasian-looking Israelites in the kingdom. Color does not matter. It's your bloodline that matters.
That's right.
Go ahead,
And well, what they were saying, man, they also had a decree at that time. Also, you got to understand what they were trying to do. You had 136 years, 127 years between the natives getting captured and us coming up off slave ships. When they were going to bring us from Africa, one thing they were doing, they were allowing these people to go in and mix with these other nations. I mean, with the native Indians, because of the fact that the matter is, if they would have brought us from over here, and they would have brought, and we'd have seen them, it'd have been a revolt in slavery. So they were lightening them up so we wouldn't think that they were our people. That was a thing that they tried to do. That's something that they did. And that's when they was going around. You had white men taking on white women. They was even allowing the Indians to have sex with their own white women. They didn't give a damn because they was trying to get these Indians. They was trying to get some of these natives. The men didn't care that, so they was allowing white. All of it was done like they did in Brazil. They done the same thing in Brazil. They done this in Argentina. They done this in Chile. They done this on the other islands. They did this everywhere because they wanted that confusion. They didn't want these dark skins to think that they were equal or what those were the same people. So that way we would always be against each other. That way we wouldn't rise up and go against this white man. So he did this on purpose. And if you look at the history, it's in the history books that they done this to us. Right. They done this.
But without these other nations, man, we're not gonna make it into the kingdom. Man. We need these other nations. It can't just be Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, that if that's the case, you know what I'm saying, that's what make us outnumber the other nations because of these other tribes that we got in the 12 tribes of Israel.
Well, they all Negroes. The fact of the matter is, they just a different tribe. Different skin tones don't make us Negroes. I mean, you got light skinned people. And you got some light skinned people. You be like, man, that mother almost look like a white person. And they just similar like that. They some black. They just black. It's just Negroes just come in shades of brown. You dig in the ground, there's different shades of brown. I mess with dirt all day long. That's what I do. I inspect soils. You got a lighter dirt that goes all the way down. The digger you dig in the ground, the darker the dirt get, all the way up into a black, like almost like his shirt. And that's where we came from, the ground. That's what Adam means, from the earth, from the ground.
That's right.
Give me 48, man.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So as a nation of people, who's over us, man? We serving our enemies right now to this day. My government name, my last name is Rotten. That's a white man. That's a white man last name. That's the name of my oppressor. So, you know what I'm saying? We oppressed, man. We serving them. Them our enemies. Read on.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Who sent them against us?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So they didn't come just get us. The Lord sent them against us because we broke his law, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
In hunger.
In hunger. When we go to these stores, we have to, the white man own these stores that we have to get our food from. that they poisoning our people with in these neighborhoods. Read on.
And in thirst.
When we want water, we have to go to them same stores and get it from that same white man. If we want to drink some water, or just as far as your house, they can cut your water off at any time they want to, even if you done paid your bill. If they want to just prove a point, they can cut everybody's water off in the neighborhood. There wasn't nothing you can do about it. Read on.
And in nakedness.
When we get our clothes, some Negroes have the textile. It has a textile number to the clothes, but the white man still own the clothes. That they, you know what I'm saying, they don't get the percentage off that like the white man do. It's always a white man in the background behind all these successful Negroes that you see out here. Read on.
And in want of all things.
If you want a birth certificate, you want a driver's license, you want an ID, you want a death certificate, whatever you want, hair license, barber license, anything you want in this kingdom, you have to go to the white man. Read on.
And he, got somebody?
Yeah, and all these curses will go to both nations. I mean, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Because when you got if you go to reservations, I've been to an Indian reservation. There's nothing on there. They have to rely on this white man. They gave them the worst spots in Oklahoma.
That's right.
They gave them the worst spots out in North Dakota. These are the worst spots of the pieces of land that they gave them, so they would have to depend on them. When you go to Puerto Rico, who does Puerto Rico depend on?
America.
America.
That's right.
Who does when you go to Cuba, any of these other countries depend on who for both kingdoms. And I'm just putting this out there because people like to separate these things and they don't understand. This is one of the mysteries of the Bible. Because if those charts didn't have come out, you got people fighting against that chart. The fact of the matter is, we wouldn't know who our brother was. We would have been hating on our brother until time be like, dang, I wonder why the Most High ain't come back yet. Because we hating on our brother.
That's right.
First of all, let's embrace them. If they not with us, the Most High say he gonna separate that. He gonna sift us out. Because some of us are the ones that running their mouth. Guess what? When they sift us out, they're gonna be finding out. You ain't even the one. It's you that's not even in here. And they're gonna be like, well, how he? Because that's Israel.
That's right.
You not. So you worry about them, but you didn't check and look up your fathers and your forefathers. Read.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what you got to understand. We are what your father is. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand it. You got to know the bloodline of your father to know if you, and see if you're in the 12 tribes, and to know if you're in the 12 tribes. Read on.
And in want of all things.
Uh-huh.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
So our people had the yoke of iron around their neck. You know what I'm saying? They put when our people came up out the slave ships, they had yoke of iron around their neck and their ankles and their hands. You know, chained together on the boats and the ships. Read on.
No. And that also again goes to the Indians. When Columbus was down in the West End, that's the first thing they did. When the Indians weren't acting right, they had the same yoke of iron on their necks.
Yes, they did.
I just want to make this clear that this is for both nations. And it's just not for us. Because a lot of times we preach and just talk about Judah. It's 11 other tribes besides Judah. And I want to show all 12 tribes have gone through these atrocities they put on.
And if you want to see, I mean, they have a movie, Conquest of Paradise, Conquest of 1492. You can go and see that. Where they put yokes of iron on our brothers and sisters' necks, man,
Right.
and shipped them back over to Spain and to Portugal on slave ships. That's the history that will not be told. That's why it's very important. You have to line the scriptures up, and it has to filter through history too. You also have to know history. That's very important. Go ahead,
Read okay, go down to 49.
verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
So he said the Lord was going to bring a nation against thee from afar. So Gary, how far do you think they traveled to get over into the west coast of Africa to pick up Negroes from the west coast of Africa? They had to come far. They had to travel far. They traveled many days, and they traveled a long way to come get us off the west coast of Africa. Read on.
From the end of the earth.
They say from the end of the earth they traveled to come get our people. Go ahead, read. Go ahead.
That's also the northern kingdom. Before they came over to this new world, they came from afar, from over in the Europe area over to here. Then when they came and got us, they came from here over to across the water. So this goes for both nations. They came from afar both ways. When they was over in this land, they came up from afar and conquered them there. When we were over in Africa, they came from afar and got us. So it's the same thing. These are the same curses on them as well as us. I'm just gonna keep saying it because it keep hitting me every time he say something about it. I keep hitting it. Both of these nations Northern and Southern Kingdom. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
As swift as the eagle flies.
So what nation, man? The nation, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, America has the eagle on the dollar bill. They nation, their symbol is the eagle. You know, the eagle, the bald eagle is one of the only animals that you would go to prison for killing. You understand? So, you know what I'm saying? We already know what this is about. You know what I'm saying? What nations use this. It shows not because of our nation. You know, read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Because our people, when we came out there, boats, we spoke Hebrew. We didn't speak English, this broken language that we speak today. You know what I'm saying? We spoke Hebrew, so we didn't understand what they was talking about, man, and didn't understand their language when we first got off of those boats, man. So, you know, these mysteries is breaking down in this Bible once you start getting an understanding on who the children of Israel is and seeing who fit these curses. It is the so-called Negroes, the so-called Native American and Hispanic people that's over here in America today.
And just like you said, you can go watch the movie Homicide. That was one of the examples. When they had them in the courtroom, they didn't know what them brothers were saying, man.
That's right.
And they was talking. They was getting tried for some stuff they don't even know nothing about.
That's right. Read 64 and 65.
Verse 64. The Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
So our people, man, is scattered on the four corners of the earth. We got people all over this nation, man, going through atrocities, man. We got people everywhere, Australia, Japan, everywhere, that's going through atrocities that they hide and they're not showing on TV. Read on.
From one end of the earth even unto another.
From one end of the earth to the other, man. We got people that are going through the same atrocities that we're going through over here in America. Read on.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
And he's letting us know that we was going to be serving other gods. You know what I'm saying? Because we lost our heritage. We no longer knew our heritage. So now we are serving other gods. We dealing with religion. Go ahead.
And also, let's go back up to the top of that verse, right?
Verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Now let's to them people that keep bringing out this 12 tribe chart thing. I got to get some on that too. See, the thing is, he said we're going to be scattered among all people. That means among all nations. We will be there. Every nation is 18 nations in the Bible. We will be amongst all 18 nations.
That's right.
So guess what? The chart might not be 100%, but guess what? It's no other person came out with a chart that can debunk what he put out on that thing. That was sent from the Most High God. And if you don't believe it, bring forth your strong reason. Bring forth your chart that show this chart is false. Other than that, guess what? They need to keep that in their back pocket, man.
And exactly, you know, yeah, you can say what you want about the chart, but it's just like this, man. I mean, if we spread the four corners, we serving other gods, then best believe it ain't gonna be all natural. You know what I'm saying? You can believe that. So I mean, you know, and like brother said over there, you just gotta make sure you in the kingdom before you put somebody else out of it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just make sure your bloodline good.
Let's touch on this one real quick, because we read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64.
Yeah.
Give me Matthew's chapter 28 and verse 19, because we got to constantly break down this lie, because they love to run to the Old Testament, but this is the precept for this. This is why Christ sent them to the other nations, from what we just brought out. Book of Matthew chapter 28, verse 19.
The book of Matthew chapter 28 and verse 19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations.
Read that again out.
Go ye therefore and teach all nations.
Maccabees, do me a favor. Go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 64. This is how you precept the Bible. This is why he had to go and teach all nations. This is a mystery that we're going to be breaking down, man. We're going to be breaking this down. I brought this class out, man. So this class really is heavy. Go ahead,
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Among what?
All people.
So read Matthew's.
The book of Matthew chapter 28 and verse 19. Go ye therefore and teach all,
because they were scattered amongst all nations. Keep reading now.
Baptizing them in the name of the Father and in the Son and of the Holy Ghost.
So we got to understand, he sent them to the other nations because we were amongst the other nations, scattered amongst them. Go ahead,
And Ham, Hamites, over in Ham, the land of Ham, Africa, what they call it. We have people there too.
Yes, we do.
Y'all hear those stories when those Africans going and selling other people. Those are our people. When you seen the movie, like I think I brought this up before, Hotel Rwanda, the Tootsie, and what is that? I forgot the other. They two different tribes. What is Hitu. The Tootsie is supposed to be the Israelites, some Hebrews, the women that was left behind there. They treat us bad. See, they don't tell y'all what's going on these movies, but this is what's happening over there. They getting persecuted over there. But we sometimes hear that they're slaughtering Christians. No, they're slaughtering Israelites who just don't know who they are yet.
That's right. That's right.
But that's what they are. That's why they came in through Christianity. Then this thing know when they get the truth told to them, their spirit will receive the same thing. But that's what y'all see in these things like that. So we scattered everywhere.
Read 65.
Verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
So our people find no ease amongst these nations, man. We never get no rest. We work to live, we work to eat, we work to do whatever we do in this society. It's never, as a nation as a whole, we are getting no ease in this society. Read on.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
We're going to be on our feet long as we in this captivity till we get this thing together and come back to these laws as a nation. We're going to be the ones on our feet doing all the work while the white man got his feet kicked up, sipping lemonade, reaping the benefits of all the work that we done in this country. Read on.
But the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart.
A trembling heart, read on.
And failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
We're going to have a trembling heart. We're going to doubt ourselves, man. As a nation of people, we do doubt ourselves, man. We always wonder why we on the bottom, why we can't get this done, why we can't get this accomplished. Failing the eyes, man, you know what I'm saying? Because, you got baby daddies, man, baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? Fathers can't see their children. You know what I'm saying? The women using the children against the men. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. It could be vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So it can't just be like that. Go ahead.
And let me tell you, what Negro heart don't be trembling when the police pull up behind?
That's right. That's right.
You can have everything in order, but your heart still is trembling.
No,
man.
what about when you driving down the road and they ride past you?
Even
You looking
that.
in their rearview mirror all the way into they leave.
Everything can be right, but that's the spirit that the Most High gave us, trembling of heart, because we broke His commandments. Because guess what, Israel? It's a sin for us to fear anything but the Most High God, man.
That's right. That's right.
So the Most High put that fear on us, man.
Right.
And that's why you think we get them jobs and just comply with anything they tell us on them jobs.
That's right. Bring it out.
We're scared to lose that job.
Yeah.
If we lose that job, guess what? We're gonna back up on all kind of bills. We might be put out. We might lose that car. We might lose a lot of stuff just on the job. So we go to the job and suck it up. White man talking to you crazy. You be just stuck it in your head. I'm not. But you can't do it. But you want to. But I can't lose this job. I gotta start all over again.
And then sorrow of mind, man. Our people start giving up on themselves. Start thinking that they can't do this and can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But then that's what get most of our people strung out on these drugs. Sorrow of mind, feeling sorry for themselves. That's what make most of our people alcoholics, feeling sorry for themselves. That's what caused the black on black crime, because we sit down feeling sorry for ourselves, so we go take from our own people. You know what I'm saying? So this is our people to a T, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is our people to a T. Now we're gonna go there to you know what I'm saying, because we do. They was talking about the police. We're going to give me Zechariah 11 and 5. But actually go to Proverbs 1 and 11 first. You know what I'm saying? Because now they got, the white man sit in the neighborhood hiding out. And our people don't even have to be making a mistake. Something like a tail light or a brake light out. Or something just as simple as that. Something that they're supposed to give you a warning, pull you over and tell you, hey, go get your tail light fixed. Your brake light's out. Your tag light, we do have brothers and sisters lose their life over small things as a tail light. You understand what I'm saying? Read Proverbs 1 and 11 for me, y'all.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 11.
Read.
If they say, come with us.
If they say what?
If they say, come with us.
Because we got some of our own people on these police force that dog our own people worse than the white man do. You know what I'm saying? That talk to our people worse than the white man do. That treat and can't stand what they call us niggas. They trying to clear the street. They don't even want no existence. You got some Negroes don't even want people to even know they side of the family where they grew up on, because they're embarrassing to them. And that's the same way these Negroes be on these police forces, trying to kiss the white man ass and step all on their own people's throat. Read on.
Let us lay wait for blood.
Let us lay what?
Let us lay wait for
So
blood.
they just ducked off, man. Ducked off behind churches, behind stores, behind trees, waiting on our people to come by. Read on.
Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause.
Without cause, with the innocent, man. We got a lot of people sitting in jail right now that do nothing. We have a lot of people that go to jail, have little small misdemeanors on their record over stuff that they just land. They not even supposed to be doing that. They supposed to be there to protect the neighborhood, but they trying to catch up the neighborhood. They trying to make sure every Negro has something on his record so they can tell you, no, you can't get this loan. No, you can't get this approval for this house. No, you can't get this right here because you got this felony or you got this misdemeanor on your record. Read on. That's it on that?
Yes.
Give me Zechariah 11:5. You know what I'm saying? This is only happening to our people right now. You ain't seeing no white people getting gunned down in the street. You know what I'm saying? For no reason at all.
And guess what? We look just, they say we look just like the African. Why they ain't shooting Africans down there?
Exactly. All praises, huh? That's a good point. Why aren't they not shooting? Why we ain't heard about Bubba getting shot down in the street? It's always our people getting shot down in the street. But they can tell the difference between the African and the Israelite. Read on. Read that Zechariah 11:5 from y'all.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5.
Read.
Whose possessors slay them.
Who's our possessors? We all have the white man last name in this country. Ain't none of us come over here with our own name. So that means that we are in their possession. Read on.
And hold themselves not guilty.
They murder our people, man. They getting off. Trayvon Moore and all these brothers that the black. And y'all better understand, man. Y'all not that Black Lives Matter. It was started by some lesbians. That was started by some LBGs, LBGTs, whatever y'all want to call them, some lesbians. So all you black men that we supposed to be strong, standing up, you walk around with your fist up talking about black. Remember, you following some wannabe men. You follow it because the only thing that's gonna get us out of these atrocities is the law, statutes, and commandments. What you got to say, brother?
And also that Black Lives Matter is funded by Edomites.
That's right.
George Soros.
And not just a Edomite, but fake Jewish, fake Jew.
That's right.
Fake Amalek is going here calling at the Bible.
That's right.
Who has funded everything that they funded Martin Luther King.
Huh.
They funded all of these projects, and all of these things were funded so you can not know who you are. Well, we just give this. Let's just give them that.
That's right.
Black Lives Matter. So you keep calling yourself black, and then they can bring up, like he said, lesbianism, feminist movement, and same back in '65, funded Martin Luther King. So now you think you equal when you better than everybody.
That's right.
And then we ain't gonna give you nothing anyway. We're gonna make you think you finna get something.
And that's the whole point right there, man, because we got to start thinking deep on this. They know by doing that, these Negroes just gonna march themselves to death. They know marching ain't never did nothing, so they love when Negroes march. That's what we tell people: don't march, keep the commandments, man. That's the thing that's gonna get us up out of this situation.
Because we don't want to accord keeping these commandments. But at the Million Man March, you had all different type of religions out there, man. So how is you gonna be on one accord?
Exactly.
You can't be on one accord because you all believe in something different.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of if we was all now, if you had a million Israelites out there following God's law, statutes, and commandments, I bet you that would have made a difference.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now we're gonna see. Okay, now check this out. Since we done went through the curses, you had something to say, brother?
Yeah, they after that marching that we did all that marching. They said, well, see, that got us somewhere. That's all we talking about right now. All the time, what it get us? You can vote. Your vote don't give a dang. It don't count anyway. They choosing who they want to choose anyway.
Right.
And they giving you the persona, your vote matters. See, you matter now. And then you go out there, you be like, because if our vote counted, you think Trump will be president? No. It was made like that. But then, like I said, the Most High got control of all of that anyway.
And the only thing our vote matters when they were doing all that marching, what they gave us accessibility for wheelchairs.
That's right.
That's the only thing they basically put in for us, man.
And hold up, that's another good point, man. Because when we bring up these social things, those things are for like midgets and stuff, other little handicaps and stuff like that. That stuff really not pertaining to Negroes. So that is a good point.
And every time they bring something out, that's what it is. It's always like, and see, people don't even understand on the Civil Rights Bill when they brought that in. That was also bringing in gay some gay movement.
Bring it out.
Yeah, it was on the same civil rights bill. But all they try to do, see, anytime they give us something, there's something behind.
Yeah, you got to read small, fine print.
It's always something behind whatever they give you. I mean, that's like, you know, when they stick out their hand, you shake their hand, it's a buzzing in their hand. You know what I'm saying? They give you something to drink, goddamn, they spit in it. They give you something to eat, they got feces in it. Everything they give you is something behind it. Right. Everything that we call ourselves got from them. It was always an agenda behind it.
And you vote Democrat and Republican, and after you can do vote Democrat and Republican, Trump and Hillary Clinton sitting up drinking, sipping wine together after the election. After you went out there and voted for all these crackers, and then they sitting up kicking with each other after you get to losing, because they don't care your vote. That's how much your vote matters. It ain't no difference between the Democrat or a Republican.
Exactly. It's two sides of the same.
And then through all the bloodlines of every president that's in the United States, they had two of them that was not in this. Even your president, that black one, Obama, he was in the same bloodline. Don't y'all know he was 11th cousin of George W. Bush? Cold blood. I didn't know that. And not only that, the two presidents that were not in that bloodline got assassinated in the first year. Because they were now, but you know what bloodline they haven't went down? This Trump bloodline. And I promise you dig deep, he's gonna be in that same bloodline. That ain't no mistake that they doing.
That's right.
This has all been a plan.
And then look at this like this. Only two presidents been assassinated through the whole since the United States been in existence. Two presidents been assassinated.
No. It's been more than two.
Which of them?
We got one back in the day. That's who.
But I'm talking about the majority of them. The two I'm talking about, every one of them been Masons except them two, which was I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. So it's got to be something behind this thing. So it's just like you got to understand, man, that everything is bigger than us. Everything is bigger than us. Now, since we done declared that we are the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and Hispanics, then who are the white folks over there? You know what I'm saying? Who are they? Well, let's find out. We're going to find out through the scriptures. Go to Revelations 2 and 9.
The book of Revelations, chapter 2 and verse 9.
Go ahead.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
So he know our works, tribulations, and poverty. He know what we going through, the atrocities that we going through over here in America. Because we the ones that's working hard over here building this country. We the ones going through all the tribulations, and we the ones living in all the property. Read on.
But thou art rich.
But what?
But thou art rich.
Because we have the penny to the kingdom. We can repent. We can reach the kingdom of God, being a part of the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
And I know the blasphemy.
Which blasphemy means lies. Read on.
Of them which say they are Jews.
Which say what?
Which say they are Jews.
Because they are Jewish. And anything with ISH on the end of it is something like. Read on.
And are not.
And are what?
And are not.
But what?
But are the synagogue of Satan.
But are the workers of Satan. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, all the white folks that you see over there in Jerusalem right now, they are workers for Satan. You know what I'm saying? So them are not the real Israelites over there in that land. Give me Revelations 3 and 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 9.
Read.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan.
He gonna make them what?
Of the synagogue of Satan.
So he gonna make them of the workers of Satan. Read on.
Which say they are Jews.
Say that they say they are Jews. Read on.
And are not.
And are what?
And are not.
They are not the Jews. They are not the real Jews. They are not the real Israelites. Those are imposters over there in our land. Read on.
But do lie.
But do what?
But do lie.
Because that's all the white men do, baby. Is lie. Read on.
I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
So they gonna bow down. When we come back and take this kingdom, they gonna bow down. Matter of fact, go to Revelation 13 and 10. Because you know what I'm saying, we was the one brought into captivity now. So that means that somebody else is gonna have to go into captivity in the next kingdom. You know what I'm saying? It sure ain't gonna be me again. So let's see who's gonna go into captivity. Read that for me, y'all.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9.
Read on.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So if you got an ear on here, I hope everybody got ears on here. And if you don't, I hope somebody got some ears next to you so they can write it down for you. But read on.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So he that leadeth into captivity will go into captivity. The white man came over there on the west coast of Africa. They led us over here in America into captivity, and they are going into captivity. Read on.
He that killeth with the sword.
Killing our people in the streets every day. Locking our people up in the penitentiary systems, using our people for nothing. All the hanging, they hung our people for trees, feeding babies to alligators, and all these different atrocities they did to our people. Read on.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
So when our Lord come back, he gonna come down here and chop some heads off too. Some people gotta go, and even some, and like I tell Israel, even some of you may go too. Some of y'all gonna have to go too.
And hold on, let's get a precept on that, because this Christ is really talking about Esau in this. And the precept to that, let's get this real quick. Give me Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40.
27.
So this is the precept for that, because what race of people live by the sword? What nation of people live by the sword? So this is a prophecy Christ was given to let you know has to do with Esau.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 40. And by the sword shall thou live.
Jump up to verse 39.
Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
So this is given, Isaac was given Esau blessings. His dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. That means they would stay in the best places on the planet earth. Read on up.
And of the dew of the heaven from above.
From all under the earth. Read on up.
And by the sword shall thou live.
Read that again now.
And by the sword shall thou live.
Read on up.
And shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
The point that we want in by thy sword shall thou live. How did Esau conquer all the planet earth?
That's right.
By the sword, which is the modern day gun. So the Most High said, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. That's right. Not a maybe, that is a must.
So you can go back, you go to Genesis 25 and 26 again for me real quick. So we're gonna go back up to here because we already know that they going back into captivity, and these just small mysteries we can break down to you. But I mean, we encourage our people to get with a body, man, and come to these classes and get fed. It's way more better when you gather yourself together.
That's right.
But read that Genesis 25 and 26 for me.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 26.
I just need the first part.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
So basically, like my brother said earlier in the class, when this kingdom ends, it's gonna go continue in full circle. We're gonna take control of this kingdom again. We come right behind. That's the similitude of Jacob taking the heel of Esau. And it also let us know through the scriptures that the elder will serve the younger. And Esau came out first. And Jacob was born second. So Jacob is the younger. So in the new kingdom, he will be serving us. Give me Daniel 7 and 18.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18.
Read.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
But what?
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom.
So the Lord say the saints of the Most High, we coming back to take the kingdom. That's the same thing that he was saying back in Genesis when he said that Jacob took the heel of Esau. But in this one, we coming back to take the kingdom. Read on.
And possess the kingdom.
We say shalom.
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 Hey, give me
King